but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Well, thank you so much for joining me today in studying A Course in Miracles. We're ready for lesson 174, which is our 5th review, here on Saturday, June the 22nd of 2024. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Sandwiched, that's a double-decker. Sandwiched around God is but love, is therefore so am I, is sandwiching lesson 157 and 158. 57 being into his presence would I enter now. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Lesson 158, today I learn to give as I receive. Remember, whatever we give is what we're receiving. So we want to learn that we only want to give the happy things that we want to receive. That's what we're really giving anyway. We might as well line ourselves up with what's reality instead of that little speck of dust, that ego thinking, that little small identity that thinks it's everything that's you, that little sunbeam instead of the sun, or that little ripple on the water instead of the ocean. Remember, you're the all, you're the ocean, you're the sun, you're the whole cosmos, not just a little speck of dirt. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Into his presence would I enter now. Let's learn to be still and quiet and enter into that holy instant, that holy place. Into his presence would I enter now. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Today I learn to give as I receive. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Okay, let's go look at our text reading. And we're ready for the last section in chapter 18, the passing of the dream. Section 9, the two worlds. Thank you all so much for going along with me and studying this. Let's before we read it, what's going on around the world in holidays and observances. It's Global Smurf Day. Great American Backyard Camp Out. Nice day to do a camp out on this weekend. Ragweed Day. And I should have looked that up and told you the genus and species. I know there's the giant ragweed and the regular ragweed. Anyway, I failed to look it up for you. I normally try to get you all, me too, trying to learn the actual genus and species of our plants so that we can, really study intelligently about, what the plant is, because has lots of different names. Lots of plants have lots of different names, but they'll only have one genus and species generally. There can be exceptions there too, but they're more documented. HVAC Tech Day. Polar Bear Swim Day in Nome, Alaska. I guess the polar bears go swimming today, huh? Stupid Guy Thing Day. I expect some woman that didn't think much about what guys do made that holiday. I don't know what it is. And World Rainforest Day. Let's protect the rainforests, just like we connect all the bioregions around the world. Okay, and we've got the Clark Hardy Male Kiwi out of Edible Landscaping, also known as the 7446 Hardy Male Kiwi, originally selected from a kiwi project at the USDA Chico, California, along with 74-32, which blooms a few days earlier. Both males do an excellent job pollinating our hardy kiwi Aquene arguta females, spaced 15 foot apart on 6 foot high wire trellis, zones 5 through 8. Okay, so that's your the Clark Hardy Male Kiwi and Actinidia arguta. Okay, the two worlds. And of course, take with you today, God is but love, and therefore so am I. Into his presence would I enter now. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Today I learn to give as I receive. God is but love, and therefore so am I. The two worlds. You've been told to bring the darkness to the light and guilt to holiness. And you have also been told that errors must be corrected at its source. Therefore, it is the tiny part of yourself, that little thought that seems split off and separate, that little speck of dust, that the Holy Spirit needs. The rest is fully in God's keeping and needs no guide. Yet this wild and delusional thought needs help, because in its delusions it thinks it is the Son of God, whole and omnipotent, sole ruler of the kingdom it's set apart to tyrannize by madness into obedience and slavery. This is the little part you think you stole from heaven. Give it back to heaven. Heaven has not lost it, but you have lost sight of heaven. Let the Holy Spirit remove it from the withered kingdom in which you set it off, surrounded by darkness, guarded by attack, and reinforced by hate. Within its barricades is still a tiny segment of the Son of God, complete and holy, serene and unaware of what you think surrounds it. Paragraph 2. Be you not separate, for the one who does surround it has brought union to you, returning your little offering of darkness to the eternal light. How is this done? It is extremely simple, being based on what this little kingdom really is. The barren sands, the darkness, and the lifelessness are seen only through the body's eyes. Its bleak sight is distorted, and the messages it transmits to you who made it to limit your awareness are little and limited, and so fragmented they are meaningless. 3. From the world of bodies made by insanity, insane messages seem to be returned to the mind that made it, and these messages bear witness to this world, pronouncing it as true. For you sent forth these messengers to bring this back to you. Everything these messages relay to you is quite external. There are no messages that speak of what lies underneath, for it is the body that could speak of this, for it is not the body that could speak of this. Its eyes perceive it not, its senses remain quite unaware of it, its tongue cannot relay its messages. Yet God can bring you there if you are willing to follow the Holy Spirit through seeming terror, trusting Him not to abandon you and leave you there. Can you trust the Holy Spirit to take you through the terror, the thoughts that you made that are scaring you? We got to look at them and then let them go and realize that they were just simply a belief, an idea we're holding that's contrary to our identity. For it is not His purpose to frighten you, the Holy Spirit. It is not His purpose to frighten you, but only yours. You are severely tempted to abandon Him at the outside ring of fear, but He would lead you safely through and far beyond. 4. The circle of fear lies just beyond the level that the body sees. The circle of fear lies just beyond the level the body sees and seems to be the whole foundation on which the world is based. Here are all the illusions, all the twisted thoughts, all the insane attacks, the fury, the vengeance, and betrayal that were made to keep the guilt in place, so that the world could rise from it and keep it hidden. Its shadow rises to the surface enough to hold its most external manifestations in darkness, and to bring despair and loneliness to it and keep it joyless. Yet its intensity is veiled by its heavy coverings and kept apart from what was made to keep it hidden. The body cannot see this, for the body arose from this for its protection, which depends on keeping it not seen. The body's eyes will never look on it, yet they will see what it dictates. Yet they will see what it dictates. So the fear seems like it's telling, that part of you that's unseen is telling the body, which can be seen, what to do. And it has to kind of, be in the shadows, in the dark. Paragraph 5. Otherwise, you'd say, well, I ain't going to follow that. That's nonsense. And that's what we're trying to get to. That's why we need to take our 5-minute morning and evening meditation, or longer if you can. And then throughout the day, check in. Are you at peace? If you're not, well, do your lesson either way. But today, tell yourself, God is but love, and therefore so am I. Into his presence would I enter now. Today I learned to give as I receive. The body will remain guilt's messenger and will act as it directs as long as you believe that guilt is real. For the reality of guilt is the illusion that seems to make it heavy and opaque, impenetrable, and a real foundation for the ego's thought system. Its thinness and transparency are not apparent until you see the light behind it, and then you see it as a fragile veil before the light. Paragraph 5. This heavy-seeming barrier, this artificial floor that looks like rock, this heavy-seeming barrier, this artificial floor that looks like rock, is like a bank of low dark clouds that seem to be a solid wall before the sun. Its impenetrable appearance is wholly an illusion. It gives way softly to the mountain tops that rise above it, and has no power at all to hold back anyone willing to climb above it and see the sun. It is not strong enough to stop a button's fall, nor hold a feather. Nothing can rest upon it, for it is but an illusion of a foundation. Try but to touch it, and it disappears. Attempt to grasp it, and your hand holds nothing. Paragraph 7. Yet in this cloud bank, it is easy to see a whole world rising. A solid mountain range, a lake, a city, all rise in your imagination. And from the clouds, the messengers of your perception return to you, assuring you that it is there. Figures stand out and move about. Actions seem real, and forms appear and shift from loveliness to the grotesque. And back and forth they go, as long as you would play the game of children's make-believe. Children's make-believe. But we sure do it, don't we? The world of perception seems real to those that are convinced that it's what is real. That's why we want to start stepping back and letting him lead the way. Enter into his presence. Yet however long you play it, and regardless of how much imagination you bring to it, you do not confuse it with the world below, nor seek to make it real. 8. So should it be with the dark clouds of guilt, no more impenetrable and no more substantial. You will not bruise yourself against them in traveling through. Let your guide teach you their unsubstantial nature as he leads you past them, for beneath them is a world of light, whereon they cast no shadows. Their shadows lie upon the world beyond them, still further from the light. Yet from them to the light their shadows cannot fall. This world of light, this circle of brightness is the real world, where guilt meets with forgiveness. Here the world outside is seen anew, without the shadow of guilt upon it. Here are you forgiven, for here you have forgiven everyone. Here is the new perception, where everything is bright and shining with innocence, washed in the waters of forgiveness, and cleansed of every evil thought you laid upon it. Here there is no attack upon the Son of God, and you are welcome. Here is your innocence, waiting to clothe you and protect you and make you ready for the final step in the journey inward. The journey inward. Here are the dark and heavy garments of guilt laid by and gently replaced by purity and love. 10. Yet even forgiveness is not the end. Forgiveness does make lovely but it does not create. It is the source of healing, but it is the messenger of love and not its source. Here you are led that God Himself can take the final step unhindered. For here does nothing interfere with love, letting it be itself. A step beyond this holy place of forgiveness, a step still further inward, but the one you cannot take, transports you to something completely different. Here is the source of light, nothing perceived, forgiven nor transformed, but merely known. And the reason you can't take it is because forgiveness gets you ready. And then when you get you've forgiven everything, then God lifts you into your true identity. And forgiveness, there's no forgiveness there because there's no condemnation. We just need forgiveness in this world world of illusions, where we think guilt is real. Okay, paragraph 11. This course will lead to knowledge, but knowledge itself is still beyond the scope of our curriculum. Nor is there any need for us to try to speak of what must forever lie beyond words. We need remember only that whoever attains the real world, beyond which learning cannot go, will go beyond it, but in a different way. Where learning ends, there God begins. Where learning ends, there God begins. For learning ends before Him who is complete, where He begins, and where there is no end. It is not for us to dwell on what cannot be attained. There is too much to learn. The readiness for knowledge still must be attained. The readiness for knowledge must still be attained. Practice forgiveness. And you're forgiven your own perceptions, your own illusions that are causing you to think of yourself as mighty, where really all you are is a little speck of dust. Love is not learned, and that's the ego perception. You're really the whole globe. You're the sun. You're the whole ocean. Love is not learned. Its meaning lies within itself, and learning ends when you have recognized all it is not. Love is not learned. Its meaning lies within itself, and learning ends when you have recognized all it is not. Wow, isn't that something? We're just learning we're unlearning what we thought was real, and recognizing that fear and guilt are not reality. Love is not learned. Its meaning lies within itself, and learning ends when you have recognized all it is not. That is the interference that is what needs to be undone. Love is not learned because there never was a time in which you knew it not. Learning is useless in the presence of your Creator, whose acknowledgement of you and yours of Him so far transcends all learning that everything you learned is meaningless, replaced forever by the knowledge of love and its one meaning. 13. Your relationship with your brother has been uprooted from the world of shadows, and its unholy purpose has been safely brought through the barriers of guilt and washed with forgiveness, and yet shining and firmly rooted in the world of light. From there it calls to you to follow the course it took, lifted high above the darkness and gently placed before the gates of heaven. The holy instant in which you and your brother were united is but the messenger of love, sent from beyond forgiveness to remind you of all that lies beyond it. Yet it is through forgiveness that it will be remembered. It comes from beyond forgiveness, but it's through forgiveness that we'll remember love. And our last paragraph that'll finish this chapter, 14. And when the memory of God has come to you in the holy place of forgiveness, you will remember nothing else. And memory will be as useless as learning, for your only purpose will be creating. Yet this you cannot know until every perception has been cleansed and purified, and finally removed forever. Forgiveness removes only the untrue, lifting the shadows from the world and carrying it safe and sure within its gentleness to the bright world of a new and clean perception. There is your purpose now, and it is there that peace awaits you. Wow. Okay, well, let's be busy practicing forgiveness towards every person, place, and thing and situation until they become beautiful. You know, until you can really feel appreciation for every one of your brothers and sisters. To me, that's the acid test to know whether or not you've mastered forgiveness. Is do you feel appreciation? If not, you have work to do. See God and appreciate God in every one of your brothers and sisters. Okay, well, be sure to do your 2 extended periods where you check your mind for unloving thoughts that you're holding that don't belong there, and forgive them. Let them go, and let joy replace all the fear thoughts. And do that every morning and every evening for at least 5 minutes. 10 or 15 would be better. And as your mind becomes more still and quiet, you'll find that 30 minutes is too short a time to spend with God. And then throughout the day, every hour of the day, bring this idea to mind. Today, God is but love, and therefore so am I. Into His presence would I enter now. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Today I learn to give as I receive. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Into His presence would I enter now. Into His presence would I enter now. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Today I learn to give as I receive. Today I learn to give as I receive. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Into His presence would I enter now. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Today I learn to give as I receive. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but And our word for peace is from the Algonquin Indians of the Ottawa River Valley and all its tributaries in western Quebec and western Ontario. And the word is Aquene. Aquene, for peace. So out of the Algonquin people, we say Aquene. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Into his presence would I enter now. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Today I learn to give as I receive. God is but love, and therefore so am I. And God is but love, and therefore so am I. Aquene.